Well, Tom, thanks for joining us. Fan Advisory Board, you've had a couple of meetings now. How are things going?
Yeah, really good. It was great to have the second meeting this week. Again, representation from a variety of different groups, some online, some travel clubs, some individual candidates as well. And again, although the season's finished, it's great to still keep talking cobblers, and obviously there's a lot going on around the stadium, a lot going on around the club at the moment, and I think kind of bringing those ideas together has been really, really positive so far.
What sort of topics, what are some of the subjects you've discussed?
So I think, the topics are wide ranging, and we've tried to be really clear with what the Fan Advisory Board is. This isn't a case of here's a shopping list or a wish list of things that we want, but actually I think the feeling last night amongst the group is very much what are the projects that we can get up and running quite quickly. So some of the smaller wins that we can have, some events coming up that we can really be part of. Obviously the East Stand is one part of that. We're potentially looking at how we name different boxes, different rooms, and whether that's former players, managers, staff, Northampton landmarks, how we look at those sorts of things, right the way through to the match day experience. Obviously we're all missing football at the minute, but I'm sure it will soon be back, and how we can build on what we do well already but actually enhance that, and also how we utilise kind of the relationships across the fan base. People have got different skills, different expertise, how we get them involved to kind of make Northampton Town Football Club the best experience it can be for every fan, whether it's their first game or whether they're a season ticket holder and have been coming here all their life.
Yeah, it's important point you raised there, because everybody wants more, bigger, better. But the important thing is, I guess, for the FAB is that how you go about achieving things. So rather than just have a wish list of pipe dreams, it's a case of what you aim for is achievable and realistic, particularly with, we can hear it now, the East Stand work going on. The club's investing a lot of money to get that East Stand finished this summer. So it's important the improvements that you're looking to make are realistic and achievable.
Yeah, and this is where, we asked the groups to go back and ask their supporters, those who are involved in their particular groups, what was it they wanted to see. And actually the vast majority of those ideas that came back fit into that category, because I think we've been quite clear. The FAB is about improving that communication both ways. So there are topics that the club want feedback from the fans for, and just because someone doesn't attend that meeting doesn't mean they can't get involved. We'll add contact details, I'm sure, at the end. But actually the list of things that people were coming back with, it highlights to me once again the importance of listening to a real range of supporters, because from the family perspective, from the young supporters, what they want. We had some great feedback around the Family Excellence Awards, but then looking at how we can make that better and actually getting fans involved. I volunteer on myself. There's a team of awesome matchday volunteers that do a great job, and it's that passion for the club that shines through. And even in the discussions last night, if this was just a parish council meeting, for example, talking about things, I'm sure we wouldn't get quite as excited as we are. But it's our football club, and one of the comments there was, look, it's by the fans, for the fans, about improving those things. And I think keeping those things realistic is important, because we want to see the impact of this, and hopefully we'll start seeing that straight away with the feedback. And I think sharing information, it's looking at those different channels. Obviously this will go out on the club website, but we've said to people that as a meeting we don't produce formal kind of minutes, because people will say, well, you're only telling us what we want to hear. We've said to the groups, take away your interpretation from it. We'll produce things like this which summarise it, but actually share your points of view with it, and if there are things we can do better, let's learn. This is a new thing for Northampton Town Football Club, and one which I think can only make it better. Wendy does a brilliant role in the SLO role, Supporters Liaison Officer, and the work there, but actually how as we with the FAB can work with Wendy to make that matchday experience better can only be a good thing, surely. Yeah,
just to drill down on a couple of points you mentioned, you saw the Family Excellence Award and the club's really strong showing in that report, but there were just a couple of areas that you think the FAB can maybe just tweak and help the club to achieve even more.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the kind of key feedback points there was almost around the here to help, so greeting supporters when they arrive. And okay, there's supporters that have been here every week for years that know where they're going, but for those first time supporters, and actually to look at getting a group of people, and it doesn't have to be every match day, it might just be once a season, people might want to do it more regularly, but actually to greet them as supporters, because there's nothing better than being greeted by a supporter at a club who, rather than just showing you around to the stand, will tell you a little bit about the history on the way round. I know I'll probably go into too much depth with some of those examples with fans, but let's get those people involved that want to share that experience. And again, if we've got people that want to get involved with that, you know, there's home supporters. There's also support with when away coaches arrive and making sure they know what's happening. So I think there's bits there where we as fans can really take ownership of that as we push on for the Gold Award next year. And like I say, it's about celebrating what we already do well, but we think we can make that even better.
And we can hear plenty of machinery around the East Stand, plenty of work taking place now, and a big role for the FAB as the East Stand comes online.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we're not going to get involved in the building of it. There's lots of things going on over there at the moment, but you know, there's going to be new rooms there. There's going to be new facilities. How do we get fan feedback as to, like I said, mentioned earlier, kind of potentially naming those? Also looking at an idea that came forward from supporters around potentially a Hall of Fame, which might find its home in the East Stand, and how we get supporters kind of voting on that and nominating people, and also a scheme around you know, allowing people to potentially buy a brick as part of the East Stand and share messages for loved ones, their favourite memory of the club. And actually, you know, part of the feedback of the discussion last night was making sure that's accessible to individual supporters, to groups, and also businesses as well. So I think it just shows how working with the club, we've got the access to do that, we've got input into those things, and actually, you know, as I keep saying, it's about the supporters by the supporters.
And a big milestone coming up. Sixfields turns 30 in October. Barely believable, and I'm sure you're far too young to remember the opening game, Tom. But yeah, Sixfields turns 30 in October, so some opportunities around that date.
Yeah, so this was something which we're going to ask, you know, for feedback from groups of people, and they can either come in via their own particular groups or directly to us with what should we do to celebrate that 30th anniversary. Some of the initial ideas we had last night were around potential social media, people sharing their memories and how people could get involved in that. We did have fans recreating goals, which could have some interesting clips there, but also potentially murals, getting involved with the university, local schools. You know, we've got within the West Stand lots and lots of spaces that are currently aren't there, and actually, you know, it's going to make the stadium look better, and let's get the fans involved with it. Let's hear what they want to do. So yeah, we welcome any ideas ready for that, and also, you know, potential merchandise ideas to celebrate. You know, for me, you know, it is unbelievable that it's 30 years, and that's a huge part of my life. And for many younger Cobblers fans, this will be all they knew. And we always want to celebrate our history, but actually, you know, how can we make it even better for those supporters maybe coming in for their first time when they walk in and see, you know, memories of particular landmark games here at Sixfields. And again, it was interesting starting the conversation because there's lots of different memories, from potential goals, atmospheres, scuffles, shall we say, between managerial candidates. But actually, there's been lots and lots of famous players that have played on this pitch, both for Northampton and against us. And yeah, let's hear what ideas people want to celebrate.
Just finally, Tom, now I know you're having a well-earned break during half-term, but if anyone does want to get in touch, possibly don't expect to apply till after half-term, but if anyone does want to get in touch with you or the FAB, what's the best way?
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things about the FAB was to give people different routes. So there are different online groups involved, the travel groups, that people might feel more comfortable sharing their ideas with them. So that's one route. They can come directly to me, which is clifftom@hotmail.com, and I'm sure that'll be shared on the post itself. And again, share those ideas with people. I do read all the social media posts. You know, we don't reply to all of them because it's not a great look for the role to get involved in sort of online discussions where people are kind of potentially being disrespectful to others. It's about celebrating and listening to those ideas. So yeah, come to me directly or via the groups you're involved in, and yeah, let's get things moving forward.